Hello everyone, I trust you're doing well. Thanks to the success of Crash XS, aka The Huge Adventure, Vicarious Visions were now the go-to developer for GBA games with pre-rendered sprites. They would hone these skills for a lot of beloved licensed games, some of which I might explore in the future. But for now, they were the handheld Crash Bandicoot team and were given the green light to make a sequel. Plus, with the Wrath of Cortex finished, they could add elements from that game to make it feel more connected. After being impressed with Crash XS, I was keen to see what this one would be like. Like with XS, I'm using the emulator MGBA to upscale the resolution. No patches or mods were installed, so I'm playing the game as it was originally released. I'll be calling The Huge Adventure XS because that's what it was known as in my region. And to avoid confusion, when I say Crash 2, I'm referring to the PlayStation 1 game. This game is going to be referred to as N-Tranced. Finally, I'm aware that there are some multiplayer features that require the link cable, specifically 3 Atmosphere modes, a race in any platforming level using both GBAs, and some extra characters can be unlocked for the Atmosphere modes. I wasn't able to record my own multiplayer footage, so I will link 250 Crash 250's video in the video description if that's something you're interested in checking out. Like with Crash XS, this game reuses biomes from the Naughty Dog games, including their respective enemies. But while XS was more inspired by Crash 2, this game takes more cues from Crash 3, Warped, though we still have Turtle Woods' theme from Crash 2 for both Island Intro and all 3 Atmosphere levels. In the wakeboard levels, we have a rearrangement of the jet ski level theme from Warped, combined with an homage to the iconic Jaws theme that plays when the shark is about to strike. Just so you know, I will be covering the gameplay next, I just wanted to cover the presentation first. Such as in the Arabian levels, which have more colour than there was in Warped, and these levels remix that game's Arabian theme. The same goes for the Egyptian levels. The same rearranged theme, and Vicarious Visions even put their company logo at the time in the hieroglyphics. Funnily enough, despite XS using the dinosaur jungle design for its jungle levels, the volcano levels in this game use the dinosaur level theme from Warped. This is most likely because there was a volcano present in those levels, so that was probably their justification for it. Strangely, the Rocket Tug levels remix Crate Balls of Fire from Wrath of Cortex. Even the bonus rounds and the Fake Crash boss fight remix Rings of Power, the bonus rounds theme from Warped. To my knowledge, the only original music tracks are the boss fights and the cutscenes. Since Warped had the best soundtrack for me though, I just saw this as a plus since the original tracks in those boss fights and cutscenes are admittedly pretty forgettable. Speaking of which, I do still think the cutscenes are impressive for the Game Boy Advance, though the PlayStation 1 models do clash with Crunch considering he's a PlayStation 2 model, and N-Trance just looks ugly. Thank God Nitro Fueled gave him an update. Yeah, look, I know he's supposed to be a bit weird because he's a higher dimensional being, but at least make him somewhat appealing. Oh, another detail I like is that, unlike XS, where the bonus round platforms warped you to the bonus rounds, the platforms here fly away like in the console games. Neat. Unfortunately, like XS, the angle perspective still gave me trouble, specifically in the atmosphere levels. There were times where I thought I was going to land on the ledge just fine, but I actually just flew off because I was trying to avoid a nitro crate, or because my perspective just got it wrong. I mean, it didn't happen much, and I'm used to it by now, but still worth noting. Still, overall, I think the presentation's pretty good. N-Trance improves things straight away. For starters, I don't have to give you a recap of the controls, because the first level is something that the Crash series doesn't really do: a tutorial. My guess is that Vicarious Visions thought that if this is somebody's first Crash game, it's only fair to help them get up to speed, complete with a crystal and gem. What makes it better is that you have your double jump and your body slam right from the start. You don't need to unlock them, though you do need to beat the third and fourth bosses to get the Death Tornado Spin and Turbo Run. The game even teaches you about the TNT crates, the Nitro Crate switch, and how Aku Aku works in the first level too, so this is much more accessible, which is why I'm going to go over the returning gimmicks that have been adjusted and the new stuff. The polar bear chases from XS's Arctic levels are now 3 dedicated wakeboard levels. Like the polar bear chases from XS, you can jump, and hold the spin button to go faster. You'll need to do this because the only way to do tricks off ramps is by going really fast, and you'll need to do this to get some of the crates. A fair warning though, the depth perception did cause me to miss some crates and hit things I thought I avoided. But the main obstacle, as you can tell, is that there's a shark chasing you. When you hear the Jaws-esque music, that's when he's about to strike and you have to get out of the way. Probably the worst of these 3 levels is Flock Full of Seagulls, because I died a lot, I missed the crates often, and the seagulls would get me just as I got to the end. This one really required a lot of trial and error. Yet, I ended up flabbergasted when the last one, Waterlogged, was not only incredibly short, but I got both the crystal and gem on my first try. So yeah, 2 out of 3 is still good. The jetpack levels from XS have been modified into 2 space levels, run from the sun and spaced out. In these you play as Coco using her rocket tug to outrun a giant fireball, though being space is probably more like plasma or a solar flare, I imagine. These are simple. Just get to the end of the level before you get incinerated. The good news is that even without the gates that Aku Aku summons with his mojo, you can boost whenever you want by mashing the spin button. The bad news is that you have to mash the jump button, unlike XS where you hold the button down, to fire your shots. Even so, these kept me on my toes and I quite enjoyed them. You also have 3 atmosphere levels. The first is with Crash, and the latter 2 are with Crunch, making this his playable debut. Unlike Wrath of Cortex, where it was purely physics-based, you can tap the spin button to speed up, and hold the jump button to slow down. While I enjoyed these in Wrath of Cortex due to the physics, I think unfortunately these are a bit too easy, because I just held down the brake and went as slow as I needed to get all the crates. They're not bad, they're just fine. Unless you do the time rel challenge. Then this becomes harder. Also, don't be an idiot like I was in Rocks Can Roll and miss the gem. But there's more new stuff, not just the atmosphere levels. We have 3 new crates. In some of the Arabian levels, you can break the magic carpet crate, which gives you just that. However, the carpet won't slow down or stop, so my advice is stay to the left and mash the spin button to fire these magic shots, I guess they are? Anyway, the freeze crate will freeze all the enemies for 5 seconds. Pretty self-explanatory. Although they can still hurt you when frozen, so make sure you're spinning before you touch them. The last new crate is the Helipack crate, which is in 4 of the 6 volcano levels. Straight from Wrath of Cortex, you can spin while flying, and you can break crates, even the metal ones, just by touching them, though the jump button does nothing. The freeze crate was admittedly a bit of a novelty, and I thought the magic carpet was an artificial difficulty spike, though nothing I couldn't handle. I didn't mind the Helipack though. I thought it broke up the platforming relatively well. But wait, there's more! Specifically, 2 new power-ups for Crash, the Super Slide and the Rocket Jump. The Super Slide is a bit too enthusiastic for my liking. You hold the left bumper, then press the right bumper to slide really far, really fast. Without the turbo run, which also uses the left bumper, this is fine. But when you do have it, this will either make the time trials even faster, or get you killed more often than not. But it does destroy metal crates, so there's that. The rocket jump seems like a good idea on paper, but you can't double jump out of it, and you can't really move when doing it, making it too situational for my tastes. The level select is now a map that sort of lets you do the levels in any order you want before fighting the boss. The 4 maps include the island, the crystal desert, the stairway, and the persistence of memory. I say sort of because you have to go back and do the other one that's adjacent to the first one you did, but unlike XS, after you beat the normal final boss, you can play 3 bonus levels for 3 coloured gems on the coloured islands, and collecting these will let you fight the true final boss. How do you unlock these? Well, you have to find all 4 shards that colorate with one of the 3 coloured gems, red, green and blue, all of which you can find on your first go without the need for backtracking. And they're not in any of the other gameplay styles, they're just in the platforming levels. So you know what that means? Once you beat the normal final boss and you have all these shards, you can just go to the 3 bonus levels immediately. Now we're talking, the padding is being trimmed down. The first one is the green gem level, 101 Arabian Kites. This one was pretty straightforward. The only bit I didn't like was because the Jinn henchmen fire magic at you when you're in sight, they can catch you mid-jump, which isn't particularly helpful since you're floating on magic carpets. Other than that, I thought it was pretty good. The second one is the blue gem level, Firewalker. This was another straightforward one, but I did think it was easier since the helipack section is rather forgiving. Though I did like how you could end up missing the nitro switch crate if you didn't jump over the portal at the end. Caught me off guard, nearly missed them. The final level in the game is the red gem level, Wild Nile Ride. Though this one relies on you knowing whether to go left or right first and where to use the Death Tornado Spin without falling. I did have to do this one twice, as I didn't know where the last 3 crates were, but it's the last level, so I forgave it. So yeah, overall, I think the structure of the game and the pacing overall is pretty good. And for the most part, I enjoyed the gameplay styles. Aside from that one wakeboard level, I didn't really think any level was downright bad. I'd say the levels are actually designed better than they were in XS. But what about the time relics? Well, remember how in the PlayStation 1 trilogy and Wrath of Cortex, you needed at least all the Sapphire relics to see the real ending? And remember how XS made it worse because you needed to get all the gold relics? Well, here's what N-Tranced does. You don't have to do the time trials, you can just finish the game without them. They're completely optional. Thank you. This alone makes this one of my favourite Crash games. Here's why. When going for 100% completion in Crash games, I found that the time relics depend on 2 things. 1, how much you enjoy the gameplay styles apart from the platforming, and 2, how willing you are to get good at them. In Warped, I was annoyed that the game never told you needed the time relics, since the cutscene only mentions the gems for the true ending. So imagine how annoyed I was when I got all the gems, fought Cortex again, and got the same ending. Yeah, I was relieved by the fact that you only needed the Sapphire relics, and I did get some gold and platinum ones, but even so. Luckily I had the foresight in Wrath of Cortex to get the relics in the vehicle levels first, just to speed things up. But then XS just exaggerated this. Yes, there are only 20 of them, and I did mention how easy it was to get platinum in the scuba and jetpack levels, but the fact that you had to get gold and couldn't settle for sapphire just put more pressure on me than I would have had otherwise. I remember when I first played the Insane trilogy when it came out, I didn't bother with the Crash 1 or 2 remake relics, and I never bothered with the It's About Time relics given how hard that game is, but we'll go over those more when we get to those games. Basically, optional challenges should be there because you enjoy playing the game and want more of it, but most games usually just give you 1, maybe 2 set times to beat, with your personal best being purely for bragging rights when posting them online, or to help you improve at racing games with the ghost times. Not everyone who plays games is into speedrunning, so while I appreciate the incentive to encourage new players to get good, the levels and controls are not always going to be in your favour, and this is going to change depending on what game you play. If you want the gold relics, or in the worst case scenario just the sapphire ones, you'll just have to keep trying until the game isn't fun anymore. If you have to use save states on emulators like I did for XS, that's a sign that you aren't having fun and you just want it over and done with. You never want to ruin a game you like just to get extra content, see the real ending, or even just a thank you for playing screen. Examples off the top of my head would be Spyro 3, Sonic Unleashed, and Zelda Breath of the Wild, though that one it was just really the Korok seeds that were pretty bad. But because N-Tranced took that load off me, the goal felt more achievable and I could just enjoy the game at my own pace. I can live without a bonus gem for the Platinum Relic, so it's not a big deal. I don't know how many Crash fans I've offended by saying this, but I had to stop and think, were these time relics a mistake? Again, if they just unlocked concept art or character bios in a bonus menu, it'll be fine. But I think not telling players that they need them for the true ending, except for XS of course, as I mentioned in that video, is just going to make them feel like you're just stretching the game out. So because Vicarious Visions did us a solid and made the time relics optional, I have to commend them for that. I think that's much more user-friendly, and it just makes it something that only the most hardcore fans will enjoy. However, despite all these improvements, Vicarious Visions also made one fatal flaw with this game. A flaw so small but so noteworthy, it made me thankful that the time relics aren't needed, because this would have broken me. It's the slide. Not the super slide, the normal slide. Early in the game, I kept sliding off edges when I was just trying to crouch, and this happened so much that before I gave it another try, I experimented and learned quickly that for some reason, and I don't know why, Crash will slide before his standing up animation is done after landing from a jump. I think the distance you slide also depends on when you slide during the animation, but the fact that this simple oversight was left in the game baffles me. This game came out in 2003, 2 years after XS, which only had 9 months to be made, so they had the time to find and fix it. It makes even less sense since, to my knowledge, you can just copy and paste a game's physics to help speed development up. Was there something about the GBA that made this impossible? Did they have to reprogram Crash's physics and movement all over again? I wouldn't mind this so much if it was a side effect of the super slide, but again, this is just the normal slide before I got that power up. And the fact that there isn't a patch or a mod for my emulator to fix this is just discouraging. This resulted in sections where I had to ride these platforms even more frustrating, because I had to wait for Crash to stand up completely and hope he would crouch rather than slide. And I gotta tell you, that's not fun. By the end of the game, I did find a somewhat solution to this. If you jump on these moving platforms, just move left or right for a bit quickly, and Crash will reset when you stop, allowing him to crouch rather than slide, unless you press the slide button too early, so this isn't a great solution. I also hated how you climb ropes in this game, partially because the game never tells you how they work. I guess it makes sense since you start doing this after you're past the midway point, but the instruction booklet doesn't tell you anything about this. So here's what you do. You can't climb up using the D-pad, you have to jump. If you take too long to move, Crash will start to slide down. To stop this, you hold up. This is how you adjust your height. You can also go down by pressing down. To move left and right though, rather than jump from one rope to another, you have to hold left or right and then hold the spin button. And make sure you hold them, otherwise Crash will just stop before he grabs the rope. I mean, just why did Vicarious Visions think this was a good idea? Was it really easier to do it this way rather than, oh I don't know, make some climbing animations? They had 2 years to make this, not 9 months. Between the slide fault and this, I just can't fathom how this got past the playtesters. It's even more of a shame because everything else about the gameplay I really enjoyed. Even the worst wakeboarding level I could forgive because I got used to it. Okay, rant over. One thing this game doesn't copy from Warped are the good boss fights, because here, they're all a joke. Crunch in particular has fallen from grace. You can just stay at the bottom on the magic carpet, and there's a good chance that his cyborg hand, which is now a chain gun, will never hit you. He doesn't even shoot in the first phase. Then when he hits the nitro crates, just fire at him before he puts the shield back up. Pitiful. Coco isn't much better, to be honest. She flies back and forth dropping bombs on you, and after you hit her the first time, she'll fire this laser every 2 seconds or so, and in the third phase, she will make the floor cave in, adding magma to the mix, but if you know where the Helipac's hitbox is, this is a non-issue. Although I will admit, Fake Crash has a unique gimmick. He copies your movements, so you have to trick him into stepping onto the traps. Admittedly, I died more to the bricks that occasionally fall on you depending on where you stand, and the only time Fake Crash posed a threat is when I accidentally ran into him. But once you figure out what to do, it's pretty easy. Even more so if you have Aku Aku, because then you can just get rid of one of the traps and guarantee he'll get hit when his trap goes up. N-Trance has 2 phases. The first phase has him jump 3 times and then fire his pocket watch claw hand at you. You can use the super slide to avoid his jumps, and then once you either jump or slide past his claw, you can spin him and then just double jump over the pocket watch before it hits you. Pretty easy. At first the second phase was annoying because now you have the Helipack and you have to knock him into the corner where Fake Crash will pour magma on him. The first hit is easy since you have enough time to spin him, but if you die you have to do phase 1 all over again, and every time you get back to this section, he will change his attack pattern, it's never the same. He has 2 attacks. If his aura is yellow, he'll fire a multi-shot barrage, and if his aura is red, he'll fire a slow homing shot that will fade after a few seconds. This was annoying at first until I learned that you could just wait near the trap, just don't go under it or Fake Crash will hit you instead because he's stupid, I don't know. And when N-Trance's aura is gone, you can spin him. You do need to be quick and keep spinning him because if he gets to a position, he'll just activate his aura and when the aura's up, you can't hit him. Once you figure this out, victory's pretty much guaranteed. And like I said earlier, once you get all 3 gems in the bonus levels, you can fight the real final boss, Entropy. At first the slide problem really made this fight harder than it should have been, but maybe I should have stuck to it because I found another exploit. If you just crouch to go under the blue projectiles, you can then high jump or double jump over the orange projectiles, and they'll never hit you. It even helps if you take a step back after spinning to give yourself more time. Plus, the platforms are pretty generous when crossing over to him. Not as intense as the Megamix chase from XS, though considering how embarrassed I was at how many times I died and warped to this guy, maybe I should be thankful. But I probably won't be because now that I know all these patterns, the boss fights are just too easy. Ah well. In conclusion, I stand by what I said earlier. This is one of Crash Bandicoot's best games. Yes, the boss fights are too easy once you know what to do. Yes, the original music is forgettable compared to the remixes. Yes, climbing ropes is a mess, but you only have to do it in a few levels. And yes, the slide... Ugh. Modding community, please make something to fix this. And yeah, I didn't use the power-ups that much either, but the super slide did at least have some use. Everything else though? The platforming, still good. The level design, I'd argue, just as good if not slightly better than XS. The other gameplay styles, apart from one wakeboard level, I enjoyed all of them. Even the atmosphere levels, which are a bit easier using the brake, I didn't mind that much. Coco's space levels kept me on my toes, and you can attain everything on your first try, no backtracking needed if you search high and low. And I must stress, not forcing time relics for completion, top 5 Crash games easily. So for newcomers, I recommend Crash Bandicoot 2 N-Tranced. Do I recommend it more than XS? I'd say yes because of its fairer completion requirements, though I understand if you do prefer XS overall. It's actually kind of funny because it's similar to Crash 2 vs Crash 3 Warped. Rather appropriate if you ask me, since in essence, XS and N-Tranced are essentially 2 and Warped, but in 2D. So yeah, Crash Bandicoot fans both old and new, this game deserves to be remembered. Give it a go if you get the chance. Vicarious Visions seem to know what they're doing, but now we're going to see not only how they handle a racing game, but a console game. Coming up next is Crash Nitro Kart, both the console version and the GBA version. Though the former does take priority, I'll mention the latter a little bit as well. Until then, all I have to say is, thank you for watching. Leave a comment, I'd be interested to hear your opinion. If you don't want to miss the next video, make sure to subscribe. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Take care.